What if the Bible were presented to us now for the first time as a piece of contemporary fiction? How would it be received? Well, let's run through the plot. It's about an omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent eternal being who creates a perfect world which he then has to punish with suffering because it wasn't quite so perfect after all. Then he finds that the punishment didn't quite have the rehabilitative effect that he was hoping for, and so benevolently kills everything on earth in an apocalyptic flood, which he then benevolently promises to never do again. Later, he finds that murdering everybody and then repopulating the earth, starting with one especially incestuous family, didn't result in quite the sorts of societal thriving he had in mind. And so he decides that the best remedy would be to send himself in human form to an earth he knew would be hostile to him, sacrificing himself to himself in order that the humans could save themselves from having him torture them for eternity over the sins he chose to include as part of their original design. In the end, after there are 10-headed dragons ripping stars out of the sky with their tails, women giving birth on the moon, and vast armies having at each other, he finally destroys the baddie of the piece, whom he made in the first place, but only after arbitrarily imprisoning him for 1,000 years first. He then creates a new Earth and starts again, only this Earth is actually perfect, just like he said the first one was. Critics wouldn't be unkind if they felt that there were some plot holes. So my creative writing research endeavours to answer the following questions. How many of these narrative holes can be filled? How many of the nonsensical decisions God makes can be made narrative sense of? How much of the evil, either directly mandated by God or even just tacitly approved of by God, can be explained in the same way as the suffering visited upon the character of Job in the Old Testament, which is to say, as the product of a wager made between God and Satan? My PhD comprises of two elements, the creative and the academic. My novel, Earthbound, superimposes a new narrative over the biblical account, retconning certain questionable events, the fall, the flood, the crucifixion, revelation, as the consequences of a series of wagers made between God and Satan. Imagining what the stakes of play for each party might be as I correct the plot holes and give my rebuttals to traditional theological arguments, the cosmological, the ontological, the teleological, framing them in a fresh and creative way, the success of which I can then unpack and analyze in the academic component. I believe that civilizational progress rests upon us being able to disabuse people of the idea that their religious scriptures are something other than man-made, a fact that they announce on every page. I was once told, blasphemously, by a devout believer, as though evidence of its divinity, that if the Bible were just a book written by humans, that they'd have done a better job of having it make sense. Well, I am one such human, and my book, Earthbound, will make narrative sense of the Bible, and I hope you all get to read it one day. Thank you.